Do you want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, I almost had to belch. Yes!
What do you call someone who ruled over a third of the human population for 70 years, had an affinity for corgis, and once famously said, "Grief is the price we pay for love"?
Wait, you know what? I can bring that person into the room.
Okay.
It's Bobo, isn't it? The answer is Bobby Kotick, right?
No, you call them a hearse.
Ooh, spicy!
Hi,
Ooh.
everybody. Welcome.
Both topical and spicy. That might be a little too slick for us here.
I had to tone down the spice a lot in coming up with 3 prompts there. If that was spicy, that's white person tasting black pepper spicy.
Yes, that's salt on my potatoes spicy. Ooh, too much for nerd glasses. Yikes. I'll count that in the streak though because that was a very good one.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Mann.
Before we get into it, Dave, do you want to explain what you just dropped into chat, a way that people can kind of interact with our good show here?
Yes, I went to my local purveyor of good goods and bought 2 food items, one of which we will try here this week on the program. You vote in the predictions as to which we will try, and you use your channel points. Now, what you're thinking, well, how do I get channel points? And it's very simple. There's no purchases. There's no sendaways. There's no giveaways. Literally just watch Insane Games TV for any amount of time, and you'll be given channel points. If you're subscribed, you get extra. Just saying. But
I have 77,000.
I have, you know what? I'm about to kind of
About to just call me small fry over
I'm
here.
about to unload because I did this to somebody else on the network. I have 359,000, and I had more, and I threw away like 200K on random things, like highlight my message and this and that and the other. 6.2K for Taco Pill. Hell yeah!
So you didn't mention what they were, but I can see it in chat here, and I did cast a vote. I didn't use all of my points, but I threw in a vote.
The two options. Since you looked at them now,
Yes.
I will say
you can put in however many points you like. You can throw in the full 6,000. I will not throw in my full 77,000.
You do. If you win, by the way, you get those points back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how predictions work.
So, it's fun. Predictions are fun. You're voting for either Funfetti candy corn.
I'm excited about that one. I'm
Funfetti.
excited about that one. I like Funfetti. I love candy corn. I have a box of them in my desk at work, and half the people around me hate them and half love them.
Or black truffle hot sauce potato chips, kettle cooked, limited edition.
Kettle cooked chips make me a little more tolerant of that, but out the bat, I'm like, I don't know about the hot sauce potato chips, so my vote went to the Funfetti. If you want to make voter miserable, throw your points into the chips.
I really wish I had videoed my reaction to seeing those chips, because I saw the Funfetti candy corn and I was like, hell yeah, something to try here on the program. And then like I'm walking down the aisle and I literally did like the like
Oh.
black truffle hot sauce. First of all, delicious. Secondly, ooh.
For a second, I thought you put a squid sticker. Oh, that looks so good. That's just the USB hub. It looks like a Leviathan.
That's cool. Ooh, No. Yeah, no.
What?
Where did he go?
What?
Conspiracy Baseball! Where is he?
Anyway, everybody, let's talk about a Twitch ban.
Oh no.
I probably had nothing to do with Conspiracy Baseball's disappearance. So this is actually a developing story. I read earlier today that a few of the bigger named streamers on Twitch. This is not necessarily a ban, by the way. We're going kind of tangential to Twitch bans. Pokimane, Mizkif, and Devin Nash are spearheading a plan to boycott Twitch, to boycott streaming during the week of Christmas to protest Twitch taking no action against Sliker, who scammed viewers out of $200,000 to feed his on-stream gambling addiction. He was in 2018, 2016, thereabouts. He was doing different gambling sites and streaming that. And then at one point said, my Twitch pay didn't come through this month and I got locked out of this account. If people can, it's not going to be for the gambling. If people can spot me some cash and, playing sympathy to the viewers and made, $250,000 from that.
What?
That's what 200,000 is, Dave. It's at the same time for being like, yeah, we're going to plan a boycott around Christmas. For some of these streamers have definitely played around with Twitch's rules in such a way that they got an unplanned vacation for a ban. So like, oh, we're going to do this boycott for a cause around Christmas. Are you sure you're not planning a vacation with an excuse?
Also, didn't Pokimane announce that she was going to be stepping back from streaming full time?
Yeah.
So
So
thank you to those who are stepping up against this because that does work.
yeah.
When the
Oh,
big
yeah.
streamers say we're not streaming till this is fixed, that works
Yeah.
because that's the money.
And we'll get to that in a sec. I did have one other bit I wanted to show. A streamer called Trainwreck spoke out supporting Sliker, and he called out one of the people, called out Mizkif, who's one of the people kind of organizing this, by showing text from a few years ago exposing Mizkif using racist and homophobic language, which absolutely awful. Like reading through those, it's like, yikes, dude. But also, you just had these. Like Trainwreck, you had these just sitting in your inbox. You clearly didn't call them out at the time. You didn't say anything at the time to hold him accountable. It was just like holding blackmail against him the entire time. Were you okay with it then? And you're okay with it now, but now you feel like you can use it for some cheap points? Like, this isn't the win you think it is, my pal. But to go back to your point of big names speaking out about an issue, making things happen, we got news. Twitch graced the Nerd Glasses podcast once again with some hot news right before our airtime. Steve, is this something that you had queued up on a slide for us or no? This one is not. All right, so let me open that in chat then. Steve posted a tweet from Twitch, an update on gambling on Twitch, saying that it's been a big topic of discussion in the community. Yes, we've seen this. We will prohibit sharing links or referral codes to all sites that include slots, roulette, or dice games. We've seen some people circumvent those rules and expose our community to potential harm. That is while we prohibit. That is stuff that is already done. That is stuff that you cannot do. But because people are getting around that, they're making a policy update that will go into effect October 18th. Sure, wait a month. Why not? Let the grift happen as long as possible, I guess. To prohibit streaming of gambling sites that include slots, roulette, or dice games that aren't licensed either in the U.S. or other jurisdictions that provide sufficient consumer protection. These sites will include stake.com, rollbit.com, duelbits.com, and rubit.com. We may identify others as we move forward. They do say that we will continue to allow websites that focus on sports betting, fantasy sports, and poker, but, one step at a time. They're gonna, it's I think part of the reason that they're waiting for longer, and they say that we'll have more updates to share soon, is that I think they came together and said, yes, this is something that we need to do something about. We need to hammer out the specifics of this. Give us a couple weeks to do that, but this is what's going to happen. So,
I like the idea of it, and it's it's one of those things of, because I don't gamble and do those things,
Mhm.
I don't tune into that stuff. So for
No,
me, it's like,
absolutely.
yeah, get rid of it. I'm not going to use that.
Yeah.
But at the same point, for those that do enjoy watching that sort of content, I like that Twitch's idea is not to outright ban it. They're getting rid of these outright shystery sites and things like
Yeah.
that.
And they're making sure basically that they're protecting their viewers, because there are the streamers who are taking in subs or whatever and taking that money and putting it, I mean, and putting
Nick
it right
Mercs.
back into the gambling sites that they're streaming, and not even just on stream. We've covered before people that have lost a ton of money to gambling sites, and we covered at one point how like people with Twitch referral codes were getting better odds while they were streaming, and making it look like it was easier to win money on these sites than it actually is.
What was that guy's name?
I unfortunately forget. I remember that it was an
the
issue, but
Steve, what was that fucking loser's name? Got thrown out of the Overwatch League, and now streams and causes a lot of problems for people.
you're gonna have to
Anywhere
be
he
more
goes.
specific.
Huh? Sure. Let's not say his name out loud, but it's that guy. We're not giving him the nerd glasses bump, pal.
X-Ray Quebec Charlie over there.
But
But
yeah, lost
good-
a shit
good
ton
on-
of money on streaming.
Good
That's
on Twitch for like this has been like I just saw the news article on it today, but this is something that the community's been talking about for a while. So good on Twitch kind of stepping up and saying, "Hey, this is something that we do want to kind of head off."
and also to give platform to the people that are doing earnest things and doing games of chance that aren't based around, oh well, you're more likely to win if you did it or this or that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to do it correctly. Your snow job is starting to get shown up here.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome Lily's Lottery, Taco Pill, and More Like Rigor Mortis. All folks having voted in our shenanigans for what snack we'll be trying later in the program. 1.1k to 1k votes. Still got
Oh
quite
man.
quite a while.
And yep, a lot of time to go. So halfway through the program, we'll see what that says, and we'll take it from there. Dave, what's coming out in the next 7 days?
Well, coming out in the next 7 days, I've got 3 titles. Ironically enough, all 3 of these are games we have played, covered, or spoken about on previous things, but now is the fruition of many of these. So buckle in, ladies and gentlemen, and get ready, because we're about to unleash Nerd Division. Oh, our first game, I opened a trailer that I didn't call for, is a game that I played and we covered in the Nerdies, talking about
yeah.
games that were coming out that we were excited for, Game of the Year, this and that and the other. It won at the Game Awards, Best Game Direction and Best Art Direction. You play as titular character Colt in a time loop where you have to try to figure both to get yourself out of the time loop and fix the actions of those around you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For the Xbox Series X, out today is Deathloop, the one of the last exclusives from Bethesda for Sony.
Yep.
Well, be it a timed exclusive, but still.
Yeah, it was something that was going to be a timed exclusive, or I forget if it was going to be just exclusive or timed from the outset.
Timed from the
Yeah,
offset.
it was timed to start on PlayStation, and that was something that was set in before Microsoft bought Bethesda. So it's finally made its way to Xbox.
This game is good, and to be honest, this trailer doesn't really do the core gameplay justice. But highly recommend checking out. I had a lot of fun with it, and I have a feeling you would too, if the idea of time looping and these different things, these different prospects, get your attention. Also coming out today, we're looking at a game that Boater has streamed, a game we have talked about on the program, and one that I'm really excited for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X today. It's Hard Space Shipbreaker. Manage resources, break the stuffs until your shift is over.
Try not to die. It's harder than you think.
Do you think this game will play okay? So it's
So-
been out
so
on
it's
PC
coming-
for a while.
Yep.
Now it's out on console. Do you think
Okay.
this is going to be one of those games that translates well to console
I don't
gameplay?
know. Like, I have great muscle memory with it. Like, a 6 Degree of Freedom game on a gamepad. I don't know. Forward, backward, left, right, up, down. I'm not sure. Like, I could see it working, but I feel like it'd be a lot going on. That said, like, on the keyboard, mouse, WASD, a couple buttons for roll, a couple buttons for elevation. I could see them almost doing it like a drone control.
That'd be
or like
cool.
having some sort of toggle. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll see what the response is there. The chance for more people to play this, I think, is great. And if they got Zero G working to the developers' satisfaction, then I'm sure it'll be great and a chance for more people to play the game and have fun with it.
I'm looking forward to this game. For those of you that don't know what Hard Space Shipbreaker is, it is exactly as the presentation showed. You are given a ship or part of a ship or things like that, and you have an objective to break down as much of the resources of it as possible and either sell it off or get rid of the parts that are not valuable.
The gameplay loop is great as you cut it up and say, this goes here, that goes there, that goes there, to try to maximize profit off of each ship. The storyline is also surprisingly good for someone that like just did the gameplay loop during early access and then played the full game. To get the full gameplay loop of like the anti-capitalist kind of thing, like it's one thing in that it's like, oh, well, you're so far in debt and you got to work your way out of it, and that's the core gameplay, whatever. But then it has so much anti-capitalist messaging in the story itself that comes off really well, like not just as parody, but like plays really honestly. So really good.
Something that amused me about this is, I know what you're thinking.
Anti-capitalist, pro-labor.
Like it sounds like this is a game that sounds like this could be really boring. Like it's one of those games that you just kind of relax and play through and because one of the times I was
from Zero Punctuation calls a post-dad game. If a dad game is Lawn Mowing Simulator or American Truck Simulator, a post-dad game is a normal job, but also sci-fi or fantasy.
Well, what specifically I was reminded of is if you just indiscriminately cut stuff, you are likely to get through coolant lines or sever this or that or the other. I just remember like vehemently watching Boater try to get into the thing he was cutting into to get rid of a part because otherwise the thing was going to go like nuclear and blow up. It was so funny. But what I liked about it was you scrambled to do it within the time space. The guy in the PA is like, that's going to take out the whole ship. If you don't do it, like, we're going to lose a lot of money. Everyone's going to die here. And then you unplug it, and they're like, by the way, you have like 3 minutes left to finish your shift. It's like, what?
Oh,
what?
yeah, like, I get it. And then the usual, like, all right, Cutter, you got 5 minutes to finish this ship up.
Just nothing. You saved the whole thing from getting blown to Kingdom Come, and now, like, by the way, if you could finish that report by
I mean,
TPS
if it
report
does
by
blow
Saturday.
up, what do you lose? You lose half a ship's worth of salvage, and you die. So you gotta spend about 150,000 to get a new clone made. Oh no! You know who has 150,000? That guy that scammed people for gambling money on Twitch. No biggie.
That's true. That's true.
What's the third one you got? And then I have a trailer to show as well.
So this third one, I'm going to need a little bit of help with because I am not allowed to say part of the title of it. However,
I can. So if you want to just like tap my hand and I will say the word when you need me to.
I'll just refer to the game as Evolution, and I'll pause before I say it. This game we saw announced at one of the State of Plays for PlayStation. I got super hyped for it. It is
Gundam?
Evolution. 12 playable mobile suits, 6v6, coming out tomorrow on the 21st for Windows only.
Oh.
This is going to be coming out in November for all the other consoles there, but for now, 6v6 mobile suit combat,
Look at that comparison between the original animation and that's smooth. I like that.
It's
that is good for a
everything
trailer.
I love about this
I
franchise.
don't know if the actual game is going to do anything like that, but that is really cool for a trailer to get people psyched.
That is the game engine, by the way, that they're showing the comparison of.
Yeah.
Like, that is actual game. And they usually do these launch sequences into the loading of the game because who doesn't get hyped when you don't watch like a 10,000
Well, I'm saying like the
ton
comparison between animation and the in-game engine. I don't know if that'll be in the game itself, but yeah, like they it looks like they nailed a bunch of it. Oh.
So this one is 6v6 gameplay modes: point capture, domination, and destruction. If you've played FPSs before, you know what those are. And if you haven't, I highly recommend checking out this game because it's free to play. No download cost. There are obviously going to be microtransactions because it's a Bandai Namco game and it is of the
Gundam
franchise. So it's going to happen. You just don't have to support the loop to play the core gameplay and things.
Awesome. So
Well, like Rick and Mortis, please make a common rule that anytime you tap Boater's hand, he has to say that.
just I'm in the middle of something else and he just boop. Ah!
Let's remember that for when we're filming YouTube videos.
All right, and of course, Steve, I don't think was quite expecting this, but he of course asked us, do you guys have any trailers? And so I sent him this. This is a DLC that came out back in May, but he asked for trailers. And Steve, here are some trailers. It's a trailer for Trailer DLC.
Good night, everybody.
He was saying something. It's not important. Oh boy. So Dave, how have you been? What have you been playing?
I'm not gonna lie. I went from confused to mad to then just.
Dave is going through some stages of grief right now.
Some stages of meme. It's been good. My God, are both of the jobs picking up? It's been busy AF.
Are you saying I missed my 1 week window to try to hang out with you outside?
No. There has been zero free time. For those of you watching, I still work 7 days a week, and most days doing 3 jobs in that time. But super excited for tomorrow because it is more Mario Kart League, and I'm not gonna finish 7th every race this week. Might finish 5th, might finish 6th, might finish worst, but not 7th every single race. That's my goal for tomorrow on the weekend, Wednesday. I highly recommend you come check out watching Steve dominate the races, watch Dan get absolutely screwed over in the races, and then we will be doing some open races afterwards that everyone's welcome to join in for.
Nice.
Super pumped for that. I haven't been ingesting too much media lately, except that yesterday was my 2-year wedding anniversary. And I know somehow my wife still hasn't like woken up one day and looked at me and gone and run out of the room. But
You've been married almost as long as More Like Rick and Mortis has been subscribed.
yeah. We decided to like do the kind of homebody thing, and we watched that Elvis film that came out.
Okay.
Because it just recently came to HBO, and we stole someone's password. Thank you, Carly, for your password to HBO Max.
We would never condone password sharing.
No. And it, you know what? I really liked it.
Okay.
Because it did the documentary thing where they, talked about the history of the performer, but they did it from the perspective of his manager, and they immediately revealed that the narrator was not a reliable person. So what you hear from
Oh.
the narrator is not necessarily truth.
Okay.
And I like that
unreliable
immediately.
narrator.
The other half I like is it's a music documentary. And what they did was they showed the impact of Elvis Presley's music through the music that he grew up with, the music that he heard. And I also liked that during the film itself, they played music from nowadays that was influenced either by the same songs he was or involved the songs that he did and things like that. They also didn't shy away from the fact that Elvis Presley didn't write a whole lot of his own music. Elvis Presley went to a lot of B.B. King shows, a lot of other shows of the era, heard people of color playing songs, and went, I can play that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in some cases, him and B.B. King were friends, and there were blessings given, this and that and the other. But they didn't shy away from the fact that Elvis Presley, in the beginning especially, didn't write a lot of his own music.
Yeah.
Just kind of used other people's stuff and unapologetically toured with it. And I liked that. I also liked that they talked about, his involvement with other things. They didn't shy away from the warts. I will. Claire and I did overall mark it down because at the end they kind of like rushed into the fact that, oh yeah, he did all the stories the other year and then he died of a heart attack. Like, you know what they didn't really talk about? The fact that Elvis got real fat real fast and still toured like he did and did a lot of drugs and was also drugged up and ate very poorly and didn't get a lot of exercise and this and the other.
Let's just skip over the hedonism a little bit.
Yeah, they like skipped over that. They showed if you haven't watched it, you haven't watched it. Sorry, but what I liked was they showed the last concert he did at that particular hotel where he was performing and things like that, and it showed that Elvis looked very tired, physically couldn't stand up to walk around on the stage.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason he was sitting at a piano towards the end of his career, and yet could still belt like a talented motherfucker, and could play the keys incredibly well, which was cool. So highly recommend watching it. And I liked it. I also, as a huge B.B. King fan, really liked that they had B.B. King. Well, they referenced B.B. King. They had an actor playing B.B. King. They played some of B.B. King's music. So just overall, just mwah.
Nice.
Highly recommend. And then gaming-wise, we played that game that I tried to get. We talked about trailers last week releasing 13, and did not disappoint.
Yeah.
And
I watched you right at the start of that. That was pretty cool.
I'm really excited that the doing of the remaster
Like properly patched
worked.
up and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, there were still bugs, there were still some things, but overall it really worked, and I was really excited for it, and I'm definitely not going to be playing more of it. Anyway, Boner, what are you playing these days? What are you watching?
Before I get into that, folks, there are just over 2 minutes left to make a vote for what snack that we're going to try on camera here shortly before we get into our news items. So click your channel points at the bottom of chat and cast your vote with however many points you would like to spend. Currently,
Just remember,
Funfetti Candy Corn is winning 1.3 thousand to 1,000.
If you win, you get your channel points back, and you get a certain amount more. I will also say, we can pick whatever wins.
I mean, I'd rather use like a vote.
It's mean, but you can get the vote and then be like, ah.
Yeah. Okay, so last week I mentioned Nona the Ninth came out. I finished reading that last night. I really enjoyed it. It was a bit odd compared to the previous 2 books, but then the second book was odd compared to the first one. I don't want to spoil anything. I did really enjoy it. It is worth discussing with other people who have read it. I talked with More Like Rigor Mortis a little bit about it during the day, and I hope to get the chance to do so a bit more, kind of compare thoughts on it. And I think it will be rewarding on a reread, and I think it will be rewarding when book 4 is out. An interesting thing that happened to me was that as I was reading it, maybe 30 pages from the end, there was this, I'm going to mention it for More Like Rigor Mortis to say that I think I mentioned it to her already, but I'll just say the travel scene. But there was this climactic thing that happened, and as soon as it ended, all of a sudden, massive nosebleed started.
Oh God!
I'm just like, oh, this is a great time for a burger to show up, and I go to like grab a tissue and wipe it. And I'm like, oh, and it took like 10, 15 minutes for it to like stop.
Are
This
you
one-
okay?
I'm fine. It
That's,
was apparently one that was like bleeding and like stuck behind a booger or something, and then finally broke through. Just
Nerd
took a
Glasses
while to clean
podcast.
up.
Also learn about bodily function. No, but
Steph
seriously,
was like, "Did it get on your book?" I was like, "No, but that would have been badass."
I'm sorry, but
Considering the genre of the book.
because you are okay, I'm going to make the joke that could be a tumor. Just as a heads up, you might want to get that checked out.
I'm fine. It's just, yeah. Nosebleeds are definitely not fun. It was,
Yes, Steve. Our producer, Steve, by the way. Like, I've had a lot of students have a lot of nosebleeds. I've had some nosebleeds, being it kicked in the face or what have you. But, like, Steve, he'll just immediately be standing there. He'll just go, oh, boy, and then just whoosh. And it's like, what is happening?
I think like
what
the last
did you
time
do?
I got such an out of nowhere, spontaneous, long-lasting nosebleed was hold on, posing. There we go. What I was actually hanging out with More Like Rigor Mortis. We were like grabbing dinner or something, and then just all of a sudden I was like, "I'm so sorry. This is gonna be a few." It's like I don't know what's going on. This is gonna be a couple minutes. It sucked, but no. Enjoyed the book. That was a kind of like funky thing that I added onto it. I also let's see. I have kept playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. Not much to add, but it's been fun. I like that it doesn't take itself too seriously. The narration between Prometheus and Zeus is really driving it very well.
Yeah.
And watching, I watched a couple videos by Simone Yetch, who is a inventor, roboticist on YouTube. I love watching her stuff, and then I watched one that she did, a couple that she did doing builds together with a German inventor, Laura Kampf. And at one point, they're like, "Oh, what are some of the builds that we've done together? We did the one where we turned my Tesla into a pickup truck. We did this. We did this. We did this one with Adam Savage." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" So Steph and I looked it up, and there was an episode of Savage Builds on Discovery that they were guest stars on. I'm like, can I stream that? 7-day free trial, you say, on Amazon Prime to get the extra Discovery Plus package. Free trial it is! And we watched that, and it was a lot of fun, especially because it reminded me a lot of Junkyard Wars. I don't know if you ever watched that back on
Yes.
TLC back in the day. I think that was a TLC show. Back when TLC was like a different brand of Discovery Channel.
Now I'm not so sure. Now that
I mean, it might have been a Discovery show, but I'm maybe it was something that like aired on Discovery and then reruns aired on TLC. I'm not sure.
that's possible.
But like that was a show I loved, and this gave me such strong vibes of that because they each took a car and Mad Maxified it so that they had targets on them and had to fight each other and break the targets.
That's cool.
It was so good. My nose is definitely messed up. I can completely close my nostrils. Fun. Hooray. All right. Yeah, so that's what I've been getting into. Consuming. Speaking of consuming, Dave, what are we consuming?
Well, looks like 7 people in total voted. And Funfetti Candy Corn got 48% of the vote, and Truffle Hot Sauce Chips got 52% of the vote. That voting, by the way, not done. Those numbers, by the way, not done by me, because those numbers would just be really arbitrary. But the Truffle Hot Sauce Chips and everyone who got their channel points get those points back and maybe a little bonus Jonas.
Congratulations. My bonus is getting to eat these chips. And then we'll get into some new stuff because there's
I
actually
like
some
that
interesting stuff that I do want
someone
to get to.
definitely someone definitely like sniped it at the last minute, being it's 1.4K instead of 1.3. Like,
Yeah.
good on you. Whoever eBay sniped that, good on you.
Well, I think the vote was 1.3 to 1 or 1.3 to 1.2
Yeah.
when I called it out.
You need to kind of get the sensory, give people the audio of the chips. Good God, potato chips! I don't even put this much effort to snack at home. If I have more than 2 pulls on the bag, I literally go to get a different bag. Like I'm like, these chips don't want to get eaten today.
I get the scissors.
Scissors. No. Demon Dragon, bowing. Thank you. Steve, would you like some?
I see him coming over. He wasn't invited, but he's coming anyway.
What do you mean he wasn't invited? He's our producer.
Well, no, I'm not saying that he's not invited, but he's coming over as they're opening up. All right, hold on.
Lily's Lottery, it definitely wasn't me. I love you, Lily.
If you're going to be on camera, scooch in.
It smells like ramen.
It does, kind of. Yeah.
Don't worry, folks. I'll make sure to give you your ASMR potato chip thing. Gentlemen.
Tink.
Good gather, kettle cooked, black truffle, hot sauce potato chips.
It's got the spicy on the front of the tongue. Not nearly as spicy as some of the stuff that we've tried, not like the beans or anything. But like a comfortable spice. Yeah, those taste good.
As you can see, I hate them. And I'm definitely not excited to now have
I
these
mean,
chips.
At this point, like the fact that they're kettle cooked chips is super helpful. Like it's that does it really well for me. So there's like good texture to it. Steve grabbing a Nesquik, going for another one, but make sure he has that.
Next week on the Nerd Glasses, make sure to tune in for when my headset audio just went out. Oh, okay. That was really well timed to Steve doing like a little giddy run start. I was like, oh god, did he step on a cable? Where we will be putting Funfetti candy corn against something else that I buy before we go on air again.
Oh god, so are we just gonna do this as like an ongoing bracket?
Oh my god, yes!
Let's see how long it is. People end up, it just becomes a troll move to keep pushing back Funfetti candy corn until like April.
I mean, we had that whole Kojima guest host thing for like a good 6 to 8 months straight.
Oh,
Where
a year and a half. All right. Web3 roundup. I'll hit this really quick. Ethereum switched from proof of work to proof of stake.
wait a minute. You didn't turn the keys and warm up
Hold
the
on.
crypto car.
The crypto car is not yet on fire. This is a good move of Ethereum going from proof of work to proof of stake. It, for layman's terms, it ends up being a lot less energy intensive. It's not nearly like it doesn't really use graphics cards nearly the same extent.
Okay.
Kind of thing. It's more efficient, whatever. But it's still crypto. Crypto is still garbage, and because of technical stuff and how proof of stake is maybe considered maybe a bit more of an investment and not currency, a security and not currency. That got the Securities and Exchange Commission kind of interested, saying that should maybe actually be considered a taxable asset, especially with this latest flip of how things are done. Also, the fact that don't kid yourself calling it crypto, you don't pay for anything with that. You cash it out into money and then buy whatever with that. Like it's not used for transactions anymore. Yeah, and it's just saying that okay, yes, there's that nice switch, and that the federal government is like, you can keep up with your grift, but we want a piece of that pie. Candy corn should be consumed closer to Halloween. That's a decent reasoning for pushing back Funfetti candy corn.
If you vote for it, we'll eat it.
Even though I'm about a third of the way through a tub of candy corn at work.
If you vote for it, if you donate it to the stream for us to do things like that, we will many things and a lot of stuff. Is that the Web3 roundup? Thank
Yeah,
that's over
just
with.
keeping it short. I know we have other stuff that we want to get to.
So, this past Sunday, some very big news broke, and more specifically, 90+ screenshots and videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 got absolutely thrown everywhere on the internet.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't open any website without tripping over a GTA 6 pre-render picture of a thing, and everybody going absolutely bananas about it. This coming off the back of the fact that Rockstar Games was hacked,
Mm-hmm.
and a large chunk of information, including source code from GTA 5, were leaked onto the internet. The source code obviously wasn't, because the person who hacked it is holding that hostage and is potentially trying to sell it online.
And he's been like,
Um,
Rockstar, reach out to me, and maybe we can keep that from happening. And boy, that's extortion, pal. Just keep adding on to the charges that are going to happen. This is one of the more stupidly managed leaks and such that I've seen. Here's the thing that gets me about that, and Kotaku did a really good write-up about it, is that
I'll just put this up because
Sure.
Rockstar did release a statement today
Yep.
about it.
But Kotaku did a good article about it, but this is all stuff that is in early production. This is what games look like during production, and people don't get to see it that much. So there's been a lot of people saying like, wow, this looks like garbage. Well, of course it does. This isn't like an alpha release, an alpha test, let alone beta testing or anything like that. This is in development. This is a lot of placeholder assets. This is, not with completed lighting renders, lighting shaders being used. This is in development. And we've seen, like, the average consumer has seen behind the scenes of movie making. They know what movies look like behind the scenes. Yeah, like lay people think it's really funny to see Grant Gustin, pretend to run against a green screen and then kind of jump up a little bit and make a funny noise. But like they still see it and like, oh, whatever, and then they see the final thing later on after all the work is put in, and they know what that looks like to go through CG work and everything like that. You never get to see that with games. Games are always so secretive with their in production stuff. And when they do release it, it's always after the fact and with like commentary along the way to say, "Oh, haha, it came so far from this." Um and so like part of it is that yeah, guys, come on. It's early release stuff. It's not release stuff. It's early development stuff. Of course it looks really rough because that's literally what it is. You're looking at an egg and some flour and saying, "Man, this cake sucks." Um but at the same time, it's kind of on the studios too that they never put the egg and the flour out there to say, "Working on that cake."
The other problem is a lot of people saw the words GTA 6, saw one render of it, and went, "This game is crap."
Well, they
And,
also
like-
saw a planned female protagonist, and misogynist gamers are gonna misogyny. So there was a fair amount of that going around too.
Just turn off your computer, go outside,
Touch
and
some
just
grass.
drop dead.
I mean,
What? It's 2022. Your reasoning for a lot of these behaviors that we see on the
just
internet,
love
things like
the
that.
contrast between me saying touch some grass and Dave saying drop dead.
Seriously, just die already, okay? Like, just you have been chosen to be specially selected to no longer be on this planet. Just go. Like, we don't need you here anymore. People that like Rockstar should now be like, now you don't deserve the new Grand Theft Auto. We're not doing 6 now.
Well, the thing is, and what has happened with leaks before, like there was a huge source code leak of Half-Life 2 in Germany, and it pushed back the development of Half-Life 2 because they ended up making a fair amount of major changes. And they're saying that the same thing could happen here because they don't want to ruin the surprise. People like, oh, well, people are going to want a fresh game when they get to it. Well, here's my take on that. The people that don't want to be spoiled aren't looking at pre-release stuff. The people that want a fresh look at the game and want to go in blind aren't looking at it. People that can compartmentalize and say, "Oh yeah, here's the really early stuff, but it's not going to change how I feel playing the final game." A lot of people are like that too. Again, like there are people that look at every behind the scenes photo of uh, gosh, I can't think of the actresses. Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner. But then still super enjoyed Hawkeye. Uh, like, sure, they see all the behind the scenes stuff, but then they still really enjoy the show when it comes out. To go back to other things there. So the other thing I saw is that, like, oh well, it's demoralizing for the devs, and I didn't read that article all the way through. I do get that, but again, it goes back to the studios fostering this thing of keep it secret, keep it under wraps. You were working on something that nobody will see or know anything about for years, except for very specific slices that we release, and no other entertainment industry is quite like that. So like, yeah, I get it. It sucks, but the gaming industry needs to be a little more open with how the pie is made, how the sausage is made. That's the phrase I'm looking for. But yeah,
A little bit more peeks behind the curtain would enter Gandalf. Is it secret? Is it safe?
is that why there's still no Half-Life 3? No, it's because Valve is scared of the number 3 and also isn't interested in making video games anymore. They're doing quite well as a publisher. Thank you.
Gabe Newell doesn't have OCD. There just can't be more. There has to be more than 4 or less than 2.
He would suck at throwing the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
He would. He really would. um, Funny enough, as a little interesting caveat to our leaker, Uber recently tweeted that they linked the hacker that recently hacked Rockstar to being accused of being the same person that has recently hacked into Uber's services. And if this is all true, by the way, because Twitter and Uber, they post a lot of truthful things. It does mean that whereas overseas organizations were investigating into it, they have activated the U.S.'s online secrecy trap card, that is the FBI. And by the way, to our FBI agent that monitors both me and Boater,
Hey,
hi friend,
sup?
nice to see you. I hope you're getting more sleep than you have been. I'm sorry I've been opening my phone at night. Sorry, bud.
I'm trying to
Um,
get the shoulder work done. I know it's been sympathetically painful for you to see me with it.
I have more cat pics for you. But it's going to get interesting. It's going to get messy. And you'll have more of that in the future on the Nerd Glasses as it develops.
That wasn't the only instance of hacking that came out this week either. Dave, are you familiar with Wizard 101?
Yes, only because the instances that I've seen it were DS games that we sell for $4.99.
Interesting. It is a family-friendly, free-to-play MMO that came out in 2008.
Then I'm thinking of a different Wizards game.
That's fair.
Still $4.99. Be a wizard.
I mentioned this to my supervisor at work, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I played that game," and I was like, "That's fair. I was 22 when this came out, so it was a little
Not
young for
aimed
me
at you.
then. That's fine." But it's a game that's continued running since it came out in 2008, gone more or less unnoticed. Until last week, it started getting vulgar and expletive-filled in-game pop-up messages. Just started popping up on screen while you're playing this kids game. Yes.
So not ads.
Nope. Nope. In-game bulletins in Comic Sans because that's the font the game uses.
So,
Would you like some examples?
yes.
Bradley, come down to the office this instant. The CEO. Dick and balls. The next world is my boss's asshole. Those are some of the choice ones picked out by PC Gamer, who broke the story, getting some of these from the game's subreddit. The initial speculation was that the responsible party was a disgruntled employee. The studio published a statement earlier today blaming it on an external hacker. I would lean more in the direction of believing the external hacker story. It's more fun to believe that it's a disgruntled employee on their last day, flipping the bird on the way out.
Writing in lines of code that won't be seen for another 6 months, so no one
I'm
realizes
just
it.
like live updating, like, what do I say now? Who's going to notice this? But I think the idea of an external hacker is probably more plausible. So it's been a fun week for hacking.
Just, ugh.
It sounds like
Ugh.
a dev left their computer open and the preteen was having a laugh. Yeah, I can see if someone worked from home and then dick and balls.
Dad, can I use your computer? Yes, son. Just don't open that tab. It's for my work. Okay. Butter, I know we've got a lot of news things, but I have some breaking news here that absolutely
careful with
must.
that.
And we absolutely need. Where is Conspiracy Baseball? I can't break this news without him.
I honestly don't know.
Steve? Where is Conspiracy Baseball? This is a big story, and we need him. For those of you unaware of the gimmick, if Conspiracy Baseball is visible on the set, you are to call out Conspiracy Baseball, and then Conspiracy Baseball is then referenced. Thank you, Boner. Actually, you can place him right in that spider web where he can't be where he can be seen in reflection. Put him right there, so he's not technically on camera, but he's also on camera. Someone moved Conspiracy Baseball, and I'm not happy about it. All right? Conspiracy Baseball has been here since the beginning.
That looks obscene. Because it was a direct reflection of a ball and then another.
Dick pics. Anyway,
He's gonna place them behind.
Conspiracy Baseball, please. You didn't say the word.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome to the stream, Conspiracy Baseball. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's a return of an oldie, a goodie, a winner of the 2021 one of the winners of the Nerdy Awards. That's right. Our good friends at Apple are at it again, baby! And we have from them, from the mouth of babes, their own release talking about how as early as October 5th, 2022, prices of apps and in-app purchases, excluding auto-renewal, in such countries, will be increasing prices, which means that if an app is normally 99 cents, it'll now be $1.18. Current exchange rate notwithstanding, and other such taxes. Well, lest ye worry, ladies and gentlemen, because although we aren't members technically of the Coalition for App Fairness, we did dig deep, we did find that our kindred spirit in the head of Insane Games' little brother, Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, did strike down at this release, this tax hike, this injustice. Kayfabe, I don't really care about it, but Tim Sweeney spoke the truth in a tweet 8 hours ago.
Can I before you do that, can I just specify this is not applicable to the US. In the US, your stuff is already taxed. But the US does here's the price and then it charges tax afterward. So this is Chile, Egypt, Japan, Malaysia, Pakistan, Poland, South Korea, Sweden, Vietnam, and all territories that use the euro currency. This is adding VAT and corporate income tax, CTI. And of course, the practice in those countries is to have tax included in the price. So instead of 99 cents and then tax at checkout, it's, well, okay, here's the price plus tax and just showing it to you outright. It's just saying we're going to charge tax on these now in these countries. They already are and have been for a long time in the US. Go ahead. I'd love to hear what Tim Sweeney has to say about this.
Of course we would, as the only people to break news about the Coalition of App Fairness on the internet.
Tim Sweeney
fairly.
was using a very outdated photo on Twitter, apparently.
Yes, he is. Tim, you're balding. It's okay. It's okay, bro. Just let it happen. Anyway, our good friend Tim Sweeney tweeted, "This highlights Apple's monopoly pricing power and also their seldom discussed practice of fixing the ratio of app prices across regions. Developers choose the US price, then Apple unilaterally sets the price in all other territories, compared to Steam and Epic Game Store trademark, where developers choose their own regional pricing strategies in response to local competition and differing market conditions across specialized categories of games and apps. Take that, Apple!"
You can charge whatever price you like. They're just including the tax in the price as is common practice in those territories.
I know, Boater. You two are upset about Apple's criminal practices of changing how their prices and their apps are worked and all things of that nature. A little update, by the way, on our Sandstorm topic from 2 years ago and last year.
Sorry, continue.
That our friends, our brethren in Epic Games, their legal attempts to overturn some of the proceedings that we had talked about are still in motion. More details to follow in future programs.
Yeah, of course.
But we'd like to thank Equilateral CEO Tim Sweeney to Dan for bringing the truth forward and calling out Apple for their shady practices and unequal pricing in such things.
Are you done?
Yeah, Conspiracy Baseball can take a nap. That was too hot. It was too hot.
EVGA is a brand that is really well known for graphics cards. They do other stuff as well, but
Okay.
they're really well known for being one of the flagship third-party brands for NVIDIA graphics cards. And they have announced that they are terminating their partnership with NVIDIA.
Oh God!
They're not going to make NVIDIA graphics cards anymore. In fact, they're not going to make graphics cards, period. They're not going to seek out a partnership with AMD or Intel. They're just getting out of the business altogether.
Huh.
They said that they are displeased with how NVIDIA treats its third-party vendors because NVIDIA says, here's the chipset, whatever, charge this much for a 4060, the card coming out. And then NVIDIA comes out with their own card, same capabilities, Founders Edition, for less than that. EVGA and other vendors are not told anything about stuff before NVIDIA tells the public. And it's just, we don't feel like we're trusted partners here. We're done. So this brand where EVGA is something like Extreme Video Graphics Association, or whatever it originally stood for, not going to make graphics cards anymore. They still make other, like motherboards and other computer hardware, but they're getting out of the business. And a lot of people are like, this sucks because for a lot of people, EVGA is the name that they trust for NVIDIA cards. For me personally, it's Asus, but for others, it's that. And everyone kind of has that some sort of brand loyalty when it comes to building a computer. People will have loyalty to one card or another. They are going to sell through their current stock. They're going to hold on to some for warranty work, and then they're done. So they're not going to be involved with the 4000 series and such going forward.
I mean,
they've said that they are going to keep all of their staff on. They did do a staff reduction earlier in the year by about 20%, but they said that all remaining staff are going to stay on, move to other departments, other projects, whatever. So we'll see what that looks like.
That'll be really interesting to see what they decide to put the resources from that to instead. God, the sky's the limit for some of that stuff.
Mhm.
What it could be, or what the resources are going to.
Yep.
Interesting. God, people scrambling to buy graphics cards and things like that. Oh.
Why don't you get us one more, and then I've got one thing to close the show out with.
Well, this story was brought to our attention by our good friend Sustaina, fellow investigator and newsy. Twitch.tv/Sustaina. Check him out. Kit Ellis and Christina Yang, former hosts of the Nintendo Minute and former PR workers for Nintendo itself, said that, they had offered to do, during a podcast they talked about that they had offered to do a Nuzlocke for a Nintendo Minute, which is a video series that Nintendo puts out based on other properties. And they contacted the Pokemon company about it, and to quote them, they were told immediately, no, don't do that. And to the effect of, quote, we consider it to be on the same level as using hacking.
So
Playing a Nuzlocke run.
Okay.
So they talked about this on their podcast because both of them has since left Nintendo and wanted to discuss this. Interestingly, yesterday, Joe Merrick, the founder of the Pokemon fan site Cerebi, where you can go and get all stats and things like that, apparently got a statement from the Pokemon Company International stating, quote, we do not have any issues with fans playing games with Nuzlocke runs. This showing that it is either a case of over time they realized that they do like this or that or the other, or a simple case of we don't want our employees doing this.
Yeah.
We would rather them, play the games as they were and things like that. And what an interesting thing, but the problem was over the internet, it was Pokemon Company hates Nuzlocks. Pokemon Company considers Nuzlocks cheating, this and that and the other. And then Joe Merrick himself is now being attacked online, and they're saying, you're lying, they didn't say that, they don't like this.
Yeah, and it could have been something where there was like miscommunication too, like with employees at Pokemon Company or Nintendo or wherever it was, where talking about doing it, Pokemon Company might have been concerned with you might have access to code and such and would do something to change the game that we made and make this semi-official or seem like it's supported by us, and we don't want that. Whereas fans doing their own thing and having a community way to play the game different, by all means, go ahead, go for it.
Nuzlocke runs, for those of you that don't know, is where you take any Pokemon game. You have to nickname every Pokemon you have.
Yep.
You can only catch the first Pokemon you run into at any location. Once you run into that first one, that's it.
If you don't catch it, too bad. You ain't catching any others at that spot.
And the kicker is, if your Pokemon faints, be it in battle, be it because it's poison, be it because of game events, you have to release it. It's done. You don't get to get more Pokemon. It's hard. It's heartbreaking. My own Pokemon Nuzlocke went very poorly, and then very well, and then poorly again.
If you're interested in good stories of Pokemon Nuzlocke runs, I really enjoy the ones that Jaden Animations has done.
Those are
and
fun.
It gives you a good idea of the trials and tribulations you can go through in them and how they play out.
Demon Dragon did say they did specify the fans,
Yep.
and I think that was the thing that they were going for was, we don't want our employees doing this. We want you to do it because it's you enjoying the game. Nuzlocke's runs are not any adjustment of the game rules, none of that stuff. It's just the game as is, and you just self-enforced rules and regulations and things.
Yeah, and like maybe part of the Pokemon Company objecting to employees doing it was that it wouldn't be self-enforced. It would be imposed by the game. So, again, I'd have to like look at what their alleged original statements were and so forth. We are just about to get going, but I did want to show one more thing. I gotta ask, Steve, does this have audio on it, or is it muted like the rest? It can stay muted. That's fine because I'll be talking a little bit over it. So, this Friday is New York State International Film Festival down in Albany. Shoot, I should have had a link ready to go. But my film Breakdown of 238 Hypatia is showing on Friday. The thing actually runs Friday, Saturday, but mine is showing on Friday. I'm getting really excited for it. Doors open 5:30, and films start showing at 6 o'clock. I'm not sure exactly when mine will show. It's 6th in the roster for the night out of 13 or 14. But the movie is a space sci-fi movie that I started shooting almost 5 years ago. Has been going around to film festivals this year. It's been great, and I'm just really excited to have the chance to see it in person. So if you are in the area, go to and this is something that you might want to see or see other fantastic short films made by filmmakers from the area and around the world, then you can check it out by going to eventbrite.com and just look for New York State Film Festival. Make sure you put state in that because there are going to be a lot of New York City International Film Festival. New York State International Film Festival. I exceeded the limit. Oh, yeah, I guess just try to copy paste that. Thank you so much. Taco Pill, that is a Facebook link. You copied that from a let me try to clean up that link a bit for you folks, but yeah, I'm really excited to actually get to see it in person. The film has shown in a few film festivals at this point, but it's ooh, maybe I can do this. All right, we'll do that.
That scene was really hard to film, and it was a lot of fun to do.
Oh, the
Oh,
one where you
God!
just like the pilot of some sort floating in space. Yeah, it was a really good time. And yeah, Dave is in it. Dave, you helped out a ton. We can talk about the film more next week if you like. I think I would enjoy that.
Yeah, sure.
But boom. There we go. Taco Pill and I got it there. So tickets are $15 plus Eventbrite's transaction fee, or it's $25 for the whole weekend. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff there. I'd be excited to see some of you there. It'll be really cool, and yeah, I shot, directed, wrote, edited, etc. Dave helped out with a lot of pre-production. I wouldn't have been able to shoot it nearly as well without him being able to sit with me and shoot the whole movie with just him in the cockpit first. He acts a major role in it, and has just generally been great through that. So
Set construction was so much fun.
Yep, helping out with set construction as well. So AJ Magliulo will be there and will be part of the panel that I believe will be directly after the film, where we get a bit of time to do Q&A. I don't know if we got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. I haven't been told. All I know is that there is the opportunity for a Q&A panel, so AJ and I will both be there. AJ was our set construction lead, and also has a single shot cameo and some other stuff as well. So yeah, if you're looking for something to do Friday night, you could do worse than heading down to Albany and checking that out. Again, at the links that Taco Pill and I have dropped into chat. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. I lost my train of thought.
What's going on next, Voter?
The Citadel. I will be playing Astral Chain on the Switch. I will be trying to finish that up. I think we've got 5 chapters left, so I'm going to see how we do. As I've mentioned before, the final episode of The Citadel will be November 1st. So we've got plenty of time to finish this game, and then, you know, maybe 1 or 2 just kind of like hangout streams or one-shot streams, whatever. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. We might actually, this one might be a more relaxing one. I know last week's chapter basically just threw us into the fire and said, go, and we're like, ah! So looking forward to that. We go offline here. It's 5 minutes to get everything moved over, 10-minute countdown, and I'll see you on the Citadel right here at Insane Games TV. But in the meantime, this has been the Nerd Glasses podcast. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave, man.
And we'll see you next week, 7:45 Eastern, right here on Insane Games TV. Bye, everybody.